There is this preconceived notion that Friday the 13th generally is this day of reckoning and sort of just bad luck all around. But when you really stop to think about it, how unfortunate are you and how unfortunate are most people around you, especially in the light of what happened in France today, with over 150 people being murdered. Just, when you turn on a computer or an iPhone, iPad, any electric device, and you see something like that, what really runs through your mind now? You know, and that's really the biggest problem I have with this. Isn't it's Yes, it's a tragedy. I feel really disturbed by just the idea that all these people die back to back to back, but also at the fact that I'm becoming desensitized to violence. I mean, I read a story now about somebody getting murdered. It's just, oh, somebody else is dead. And I really, that I think is definitely a horrible side effect of this continued type of aggression we're seeing on the part of a lot of terrorists and other groups. And I can't conceive it. I can't conceive it. I can't understand how anyone sits here and they go, oh man, uh, we definitely we're great. America's great, and we don't have any problems, and the world's wonderful. When you see stuff like this, it's so hard for me to remain positive. It's so hard for me to go and say, oh yeah, we're living in a great world. We're living in an all right world. We're living in a halfway decent world because we just all these murders just took place today. These coordinated attacks that we had almost no way of knowing about, no way of intercepting, no way of just giving any type of caution to. And yes, I'm talking about France. That's not here. That's not the U.S. But it's bad enough because if it can happen to them, it can happen to anybody. Again, this is the U.S. That's France. Doesn't change the fact that what's going on over there is really just as bad as what's going on over here, except we have it kind of continuously almost every day where we have, young black men getting murdered, uh, among other groups of people. But they're definitely, my demographic is certainly in a larger perspective of the casualties that fill up the American body count each year. And again, I don't want to look at this to be seen as me saying, "Oh, the world's horrible, the world sucks, the world's terrible." I'm not saying that at all. There are a lot of things I like about America, I like about France, I like about the world in general. But there really is no reason to vindicate the idea that security has gotten so good, we're so well off just in how we are kept safe that we can just completely ignore these types of things. But that's exactly what's going to happen. What's really the most disturbing thing to me is remember last year with the beheadings by ISIS. Okay, fast forward a year later, how what really have we done to them to ensure they won't do it anymore? Like they're talking about the guy who was doing it. Oh, he's presumably dead now, but he didn't serve any jail time. He was never in prison. So, okay, yes, he died the death of a murderer, a mass scale terrorist murderer. But what does that do for the families that I don't know, it seems like such a cop out of justice. okay, we're not going to bring this guy to trial and, have him just have the whole American public condemn him as he should be. We're going to just blow everything up. And that's ultimately what it seems as if we're going to have to do if we're going to get these terrorists to understand that as the just superpower of the world, we can kill more people. We don't want to kill more people is the idea that I'm trying to convey. We don't want to kill anybody. I certainly don't. I kind of have this thing where an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. But in all seriousness, if he really wanted to, and I'm sure this is the screwed up part, if the president said, let's go and just destroy and blow up and send missiles everywhere we think ISIS is, he'd kill probably every single member, including a whole bunch of innocent people. But you know what? There would be nothing but cheers, applause. You get a few people saying, "Oh, you baby murderer! You killed the babies! You killed the children. We don't know what they were gonna be." But even then, we killed who we knew was committing the crimes, who we knew was involved with this group, and who we knew resided there. So mission accomplished. It's certainly not something I would, go out and just do on a whim. But it would have to be the result of just continued incidents like this that show the group has no interest in reasoning or rationale, and it's ultimately going to be the judge of history as to whether or not the decisions made this year, 2015, will be seen positively in 2035 or 2055 or 2075. It's going to have to be that future group of historians that hasn't even been born yet that says, okay, these are the views that we have now about these issues. These are the views that we're going to sort of perpetuate as being kind of in the right. And I guarantee you, even if people now at this point, some people might say, oh, the president's a murderer. He went and blew up all these countries to kill, not the countries, all these different places to kill members of ISIS that probably were going to do something, along with a whole bunch of innocent people. You would get so many people saying, oh, I love the president's decision. It was great. It was wonderful. He'd probably have his approval rating go up to 70% in the span of a day. Like, they're bragging about how Reagan's approval rating when leaving office was 69%. Obama's would be even higher, just from doing that one thing. Look how high up it went after bin Laden was murdered or killed. It was so high up. And they were talking, oh, yeah, the president's great. Oh, I love him. That lasted for about maybe a month. And then, oh, the economy and affordable health care, Obamacare. It all went back to the way it was before. So he would just have to realize this isn't a popularity contest, which is, I think, what he's been doing for the majority of his administration. But even then, you're not going to create any type of atmosphere to where people are going to believe the rationale you have for killing these people is just to go out and kill people. That's not what you're doing. You're doing this to send a message. If you want to be crazy, we can be crazy. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. He gives so many addresses, so many speeches, and just nothing. And I'm glad. And it bothers me because they attacked, or our people, fellow Americans, were murdered by ISIS. And now they're going out and doing the same thing to other countries. And we're all talking about how bad it is and how horrible it is. And it is bad. But nothing is going to change. It's going to be the exact same thing. Come not even 6 months, we're going to see something else. Maybe not on such a high scale, but it's going to be the exact same story. ISIS did this, ISIS did that. And there's never going to be vindication on the part of the president, on the part of other countries. We're always going to have this divisive view of, oh, you should kill them. Oh, you should try to make peace. Making peace hasn't worked, and it makes it to where you think killing him's the only option left, and that's what scares me. I don't want anyone to die. I didn't want this to happen. Why does anybody have to die? Why can't they just go to jail and just serve out the rest of their disgraceful lives as murderers behind bars? And I'm not trying to say if you have a different view from me, you're in the wrong. But Jesus, there has to be something done about these people. I'm so sick of waking up every day and hearing, oh, they did this, they did that, they did this, and then they just go home.